Okay, so here we've got this bright red book here. It's got a cloth exterior. It's quite a bit larger than the size of my hand. It's called 50 Bab Ballads by W.S. Gilbert. And you can see this really intricate cartoon on the front here showing all these different characters. And all of these are from different illustrations within the story as well. You can see they've all got these really ridiculous expressions and movements being displayed with 139 illustrations by the author. And I love this, this one is just laying flat there. And then on the spine it says the title, 50 Bab Ballads, and the author's name there, as well as the publisher at the bottom with Routledge, it looks like. And nothing really on the back to note, nothing on the sides of the pages. It's a little worn on the spine, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition. So if we open it up here, we can see there's just some minor spotting on the pages there. We read 50 Bab Ballads, and then the cover image is printed again here as the frontispiece, and so we can see in a little bit more detail there. Just pretty intricate. And here's the title page itself. So it's called 50 Bab Ballads, Much Sound and Little Sense by W.S. Gilbert. We've got another illustration there of a child at a piano, with illustrations by the author, published in London in 1891. And here we've got a preface. It says, the Bab Ballads appeared originally in the columns of Fun, when that periodical was under the editorship of the late Tom Hood. They were subsequently republished in 2 volumes, one called The Bab Ballads, the other More Bab Ballads. The period during which they were written extended over some 3 or 4 years. Many, however, were composed hastily, and under the discomforting necessity of having to turn out a quantity of lively verse by a certain day in every week. As it seemed to me, and to others, that the volumes were disfigured by the presence of these hastily written impostors, I thought it better to withdraw from both volumes such ballads as seemed to show evidence of carelessness or undue haste, and to publish the remainder in the compact form under which they are now presented to the reader. It may interest some to know that the first of the series, The Yarn of the Nancy Bell, was originally offered to Punch, to which I was at that time an occasional contributor. It was, however, declined by the then editor on the ground that it was too cannibalistic for his readers' taste. And that's from the author, written in 1876, it looks like. So this is just a collection of humorous stories with sort of cartoonish illustrations that were originally presented to these periodicals, and then just sort of collected all together in this one book here. Alright, and here's one of the first ones, showing this illustration of a captain, it looks like, and it says, Captain Reese. Of all the ships upon the blue, no ship contained a better crew than that of worthy Captain Reese, commanding of the mantelpiece. He was adored by all his men, for worthy Captain Reese R.N. did all that lay within him to promote the comfort of his crew. If ever they were dull or sad, their captain danced to them like mad, or told, to make the time pass by, droll legends of his infancy. A feather bed had every man, warm slippers and hot water can, brown Windsor from the captain's store, a valet too to every 4. So I'm just going to jump ahead and just show some other images here. So there's a woman, and then this other one here. There's a really ridiculous hairdo on this character. And these are just all apparently drawn by the author. So W.S. Gilbert is the author. And some of them are more detailed than others. Some seem sort of kind of bare bones cartoons, while others have sort of an environment behind them as well. This one's for the Troubadour. And it says, a troubadour he played, without a castle wall. Within a hapless maid responded to his call. A willow, woe is me, alack and well a day. If I were only free, I'd hie me far away. Unknown her face and name, but this he knew right well. The maiden's wailing came from out a dungeon cell. So all of these are sort of just rhyming poems, and there's a wild image there. This one's called Sir Macklin. These kind of look like the, I think the Punch and Judy puppets. And that's the yarn of the Nancy Bell that he referenced in the preface there. And then the Bishop of Rum-Ti-Foo. From east and south the holy clan of bishops gathered to a man, to synod called Pan-Anglican. In flocking crowds they came. Among them was a bishop who had lately been appointed to the balmy isle of Rum-Ti-Foo, and Peter was his name. These are all from that one story, it looks like. Here we've got one called The Precocious Baby. A very true tale, it said. This one's labeled To Phoebe. And then this one is Baines Carew, Gentleman. It says, of all the good attorneys who have placed their names upon the roll, but few could equal Baines Carew for tender-heartedness and soul. Whenever he heard a tale of woe from client A or client B, his grief would overcome him so he'd scarce have strength to take his fee. It laid him up for many days, when duty laid him to distrain, and serving writs, although it pays, gave him excruciating pain. He made out costs, distrained for rent, foreclosed and sued with moistened eye. No bill of costs could represent the value of such sympathy. No charges can approximate the worthy of sympathy with woe, although I think I ought to state he did his best to make them so. Of all the clients who had mustered round his legal flag, no single client of the crew was half so dear as Captain Bagg. Now Captain Bagg had bowed him to a heavy matrimonial yoke. His wifey had faults of few, she never could resist a joke. And these are more illustrations from that story as well. And there's the one from the cover that I pointed out. Thomas Winterbottom Hance is the title of that story. A discontented sugar broker. So I'm just going to jump ahead since there's quite a lot in here, and we'll get a look at a few. This one shows a interesting sort of specter character, and this is called the Phantom Curate. A bishop once, I will not name him his see, annoyed his clergy in the mode conventional. From pulpit shackles never set them free, and found a sin where sin was unintentional. Alright, so we're just jumping ahead and looking at some of these random images here, just to get a sense of what these are like. Here's one for Peter the Wag. Policeman Peter forth I drag from his obscure retreat. He was a merry, genial wag, who loved a mad conceit. If he were asked the time of day by country bumpkins green, he not unfrequently would say 13:15. Here's one showing the Captain and the Mermaids. Alright, let's take a look at this one here. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the end. This is a more detailed ones here. More realistic, I suppose. For the Way of Wooing. And we've got some more in here for that story. they're getting increasingly cartoonish. I just love how there's a sort of an illustration on every page. Oh, this one's really intense looking. Some sort of dying Santa Claus or something. It says the old ones palsied blare and whore, their breasts in anguish beat. They've seen him 70 times before, how well they know the cheat. They've seen that ghastly pantomime, they've felt its blithing breath. They know that rollicking Christmas time meant cold and want and death. Haunted. Aye, in a social way, by a body of ghosts in dread array, but no conventional spectres they. Appalling grim and tricky, I quail at mine as I'd never quail at a fine traditional spectre pale, with a turnip head and a ghostly wail and a splash of blood on the dicky. Alright, well that's 50 Bab Ballads there. If you like the video, feel free to give us a like or a comment and subscribe, and let us know what types of things you'd like to see, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.